am part of a marketing team, and so we had to read Story Brand by Donald Miller. So I feel like a lot of people who are entrepreneurs have read that book, and it was really great. And he talks a lot about how, a lot of times companies want to market themselves as the hero, like, hey, you
Mhm.
have dirty clothes, we can fix that, but and then in movies you have that all the time, you have the hero of the story, but the thing that
Mhm.
we forget is that there's actually a guide, and the guide is almost the real hero, but really just, I mean, they're important in
Mm.
helping the hero along. And I think it's easy, and I see this all the time because we did it ourselves, is like we went into foster care as the hero. Like,
Mhm.
oh, these poor babies, we're gonna rescue them, we're gonna fix them up, we're gonna send them back to their families, everything's gonna be great. And so our first placement was such a slap in the face because I went into it with the wrong
Mm.
mentality. Yes, we did want her to be reunified with her family, but man, that burden that I placed on myself to be her hero
Mm.
was,
Yeah.
1, incorrect, and 2, was exhausting. And
Mm.
so it was just one of those dumb things. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was like, yeah, of course I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm gonna take these babies in. And this one came to us as a 17-month-old, which
Mhm.
again, I don't like toddlers. So that was maybe a mistake that we were like, okay, fine. Our oldest that we'll take is 18 months. And so, of course, when they called us and were
Mhm.
like, hey, will you take a 17-month-old? I'm like, oh, I mean, this is from God. Obviously, He wants us to do this because it fits in our age range. And so we said yes. And she was with us for 13 months. And the first 6 months actually were really great. She was
Yeah.
really easy. She was very compliant and, just
Mhm.
she was good. She was happy to eat whatever we told her to eat. She was happy to sleep when we told her to sleep. But the thing that happened at that 6-month mark really was she turned 2.
Mhm.
And then those terrible twos came roaring in, and she just chose not to sleep anymore, and she didn't wanna eat anymore, and she just wanted to scream. And then this guy had a shift change. I mean, he's a police
Mhm.
officer,
Mhm.
and so he all of a sudden needed to work on the weekends and sleep during the day, and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Oh my gosh, like, this is not
Mm.
the best."
Yeah.
And so it was just like a colliding of a million different things. But those last 7 months, like, I crawled through those last 7 months. It
Mm.
was
Yeah.
not good.
Mhm.
And it wasn't until after she left and I was reading this book a bunch of years later that I was like, "Oh, man, I wanted to be her hero." And
Mm.
I felt like I had to be that stay-at-home mom and provide everything that she was missing in her life.
Mm.
And it was interesting because I called my caseworker one Saturday morning and I was like, "Hey, Kelly, I'm probably gonna disrupt. Like, this is not going
Mhm.
well." And of course, when you're going through those classes and you go through the portion on disruption, you're like,
Yes.
failures,
Yeah.
losers, like, you guys are quitters. And of course, 6 months in, I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
crap, that's us."
Yeah.
But it was great. I'm glad it gave me that perspective and that humility and
Mhm.
also that
Mhm.
compassion for people who have disrupted.
Mhm.
Because it's hard, and
Mhm.
especially when you have the wrong mindset going in that, like, man,
Mhm.
you can do this and you have to do this and you're the hero and you're gonna fix all these things. You're like, "This isn't what God even called me to do.
Mhm.
So of course this is
Right.
going poorly." And so Kelly was like, "Hey, you have to send her to daycare." I was like, my kids don't even go to daycare. Why would I send this poor baby to daycare
Mhm.
when I'm the one who's gonna fix her? But really, I was probably the one messing her up the most. And so that was like a big deal for us to send her to daycare. And
Mhm.
at first we started off with 2 days and I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, that's good." But then I was like, I still need a break."
Mhm.
So then she was going 3 days. And again, the guilt was there because Mia, our youngest, bio child, was still home with me. I didn't send her to daycare,
Mhm.
but she also wasn't a screamer.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so our little one went to daycare 3 days a week, and then 4 days a week, and then 5 days a week. And I have to admit, some Saturdays and Sundays, I was like, "I really wish daycare was open today. I would send you." And I think it's easy to listen to these stories and say, "Why did you even do it?" Like,
Mm.
what you obviously weren't the right fit to be a foster parent.
Mm.
And I think the people who are harshest about those, like, with those kinds of judgments are the people who haven't done it. So you can judge me all you want, but unless you've actually done it, I don't want to hear it.
Mm.
But I think it's good for other foster parents to say, like, man,
Yes.
what am I thinking about my role in
Mhm.
this journey? And so just having that mindset that, man, I'm the guide. I'm not the hero of this girl's story. She's the hero of her own story. I want to be here as her guide and to help her through this journey of crazy life that, God has given her. And like, what is my role in this? And maybe it
Mhm.
is to be a safe place for her and to send her to school where she can also be safe
Mhm.
and learn and be with other kids and
Right.
stuff. It looks so different for every child.
Mhm.
But I think I'm thankful I had my seasons as a stay-at-home mom, and I'm not a stay-at-home mom anymore. And I think I'm a better person for it because I don't know, we're all evolving. I'm growing and I'm thankful I have this really great job that I love, that I get to read marketing books for, but that like I can enjoy being with my kids again.
Yeah.
Because there was a season in there that I was like, I'm so sorry. I kind of hate being a mom, you
Yeah.
know? And I hate saying that because there are people who struggle with
Yeah.
infertility. There are people who've been waiting to adopt. Again, there's just so many different stories, but this is mine. And this is
Yeah.
my portion that I'm saying, man, that was
Mhm.
super difficult. And motherhood is obviously
Mhm.
wonderful and full of joy, but that's not it. There's so much. There's the highs and there's the lows, and sometimes they exist at the same time. But
That's right.
definitely that first placement, and I think a lot of people get their butts handed to them in their first placements because you are faced with reality of
Yeah.
like, man, I thought I was going to be this kind of parent. Turns out I'm this kind of parent.
Yeah.
Is that
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. As long as you can like build that bridge from what you thought you were going to be to what you actually are, and just find, you know, some commonality in it. Like, I thought I was going to be a great foster mom. I am still a great foster mom with a ton of other people's help.
Yeah.
Yeah.